Hi, welcome to another video on my Arduino Yun with some electronics and a switch and a motorized propeller, and these two are from Fischertechnik. Last time I again managed to get the motor running, so at least I got the pulse width modulation control correct in some way, but what I noticed was that it does not anymore respond to the switch, and what is not quite right is that this potmeter mock-up, which is power to resistors and then to the input A1, no, A0, has not changed the rotational speed of this motor, and that should have happened. Now it can be that my code is not entirely correct, but let's first see that the motor runs again, and then see if I can replace these resistors by these resistors, which are twice as large in value, and then see if I can get it done with the rotational speed. So first off screen I'll start the program. Well, the program is already running, but I will give it some input. Fortunately it says console not available, so that should be working. And I press send, and then it does nothing. What happens when I press switch? Nothing either. Okay, this is not a situation I like. Are all the wires correct? Well, at least this one is doing its job because it is lit up, but then this motor doesn't do anything, and that surprises me. Last time it just worked. Also, this red LED is just functioning. Alright, let's see about this wiring. I will just put this resistor next to it. Then I will have actually two of these next to each other, since these are half of this. So then I will have 330 divided by 2, I think. Yeah. Will this work? Or won't it? Well, the value is alright. Well, this is all manual, of course, as you can see. So I will give a value again. Just a character input. Send. But again, absolutely no response. Is wiring here all okay? Alright, I did not expect this to happen, obviously. So I'll have to look into that. And also I will have to look into the code as far as these values go. Because a mock-up is nice, but this should work. What do I get on A1? What is printed there? That is a good question. So let's see. So taking a look at the code. Let's forget about the monitor for now. This is the part where the pulse width modulation is being generated, being set actually. And what it is about is of course to read from analog pin A0. Since the speed has not been able to altered, the question is that actually being done? Well, yes. This is analog in pin A0 assigned to sensor value, and then sensor value is together with 1023 and 255 mapped into output value 1. And the big question is, of course, is this being done correctly? Well, we can have a short look at analog in out 8, which is actually for the Mega 2560 project. How did I do it here? Once again, the same kind of declaration, and then going, let's see where it happens. As it happens, because analog digital in analog in pin not A0, it's analog in pin is what I have to look for, which is here. So this is just like on this side, just like here, it is being assigned to sensor value. Then looking to sensor value, that is being assigned with exactly the same parameters: 0, 1023, 0, 255. So there's absolutely no difference in it. The only difference is then the pulse width modulation setting, but these differ per board, and now we are looking at the Yun. So this is actually quite alright, and this value, well, this value should be dependent on the value of the resistors, because that is exactly the same what I do on the Mega 2560 board. So now back to the console, filling in the same kind of the same characters, running it. Alright, let's stop it. What is switch? Is switch from coming from somewhere? Of course it is. Yes, switch is from connection sensor. Console read. Yeah, right. So console read content is assigned to connection sensor, which happens then to be 1023. It is L. That means that it should change when I change a character. Alright, let's change the character. send, pause. It is still 2023, but now it's the character D. So switch is and here it says switch is sensor value. And what is sensor value? That is actually this. However, sensor value what does it say? Does it say something? Yes, it says 1023, which is this. But as you have seen in the previous section, that is not alright, because I changed the resistor. I put the resistor with it, so it has to change. So that is next of interest. Why isn't that changing? What is going wrong there? As far as I can see now, I'm doing nothing wrong in the code. So is it the circuit? Could be. Anyway, let's see what happens there. Alright, back to the circuit. I just put this one in, but there's no change in any behavior. So what I'm going to do is enlarge the resistance, and for that I have to remove the parallels. But let me remove the parallels and use these other resistors, which are the same as this one, and put them in series. Resistors in parallel decrease the resistance, and in series increase it. So I take these ones out, then this one, let me put it here, and this, now I will bend this one, and I will put it in between the orange wire and this resistor. And so it's lucky that the wires are quite flexible. And of course I have to put it in. So alright, this should be it. So now the resistance should be somewhat 660 ohms. And I can verify that, of course, with the multimeter. So put it to ohms, kilo ohms, and then measure here and measure here. Oh, now it is 360. Then what is this? 180. Ah, I mix up. Then what is this resistance? 129 ohms. Let me adjust the camera angle a little. So this one is 129 ohms. What happens here? This is remarkable. Look at the propeller. Well, yes. So, what happens when I measure this? Alright, so on here, this is 189, and then both together is 350. So that's one thing, but considering the fact that I just by measuring and making apparently some contact with this this resistor, which is part of the switch circuit, and then nothing happens. So, which raises the question, why did this make the propeller or the motor run? And now it doesn't. Anyway, resistance changed. Let me see what happens when I put some input. So with the mock-up potmeter changed and the remarkable finding that the motor suddenly started working, let's once again see what happens. Alright, what is it here? Once again, exactly the same values. Now, let's take a look. This is exactly the same. These values and these values only. And this is pretty strange, but what I am going to do now is actually say, alright, I have a sensor value. I want to print only the sensor value. Oh well, I already do that. Switch sensor value. So let's see here. How can this be? I changed the resistance, the resistor value, the total resistor value, and yet it says simply, alright, it is the sensor value, which is red. I don't get it. Am I doing something wrong? If so, what? Output value 1 is another one. Output value 1 is here. And this is output value 1. And looking at the terminal, it is and stays 255. And I just really don't believe this value. What's wrong with it? How can this be? Unfortunately, I have only a very limited amount of resistor values, and I really do not have another potmeter.
I have 3 in total, and all 3 are being used in active circuits. So that's hence I have to use a mock-up. But even a mock-up should work. Well, not really a mock-up. I keep calling it a mock-up, but it's actually a discrete replacement of something else. And this is a discrete replacement. Remains the question, why is this happening? Looking at it, it has exactly it has actually the same working, because you get the voltage from the plus, it goes through the resistor, so you end up with some less voltage, and that goes straight into a 0. What would be very nice, of course, is using a potmeter and then during the run of this change the value and then see what happens. But as said, unlikely to do that right now. Also, why doesn't the motor run? Let me just try it again. And what happens is that I just give the propeller a push and it runs and keeps running. But also quite independent of the input, because the input has stopped, but the propeller keeps running. Now let's go back to the circuit. I want to do another test.
And just as remarkable, the propeller motor just stopped out of nothing. So the question is, why did it stop? Because now all I did when I said it was running is this, and it kept running. Now this LED is burning, this LED is burning, this LED isn't, but that is just switch dependent. So all I can do now is give some more input and see what then happens. Alright, well, you can see whatever happens. I can give it pushes, but it just doesn't work. Which also implies that it is hardly any use to pull out a resistor here, because it won't change. It doesn't change a bit. But again, why does it stop? Why does it start? And I am really inclined to take a potmeter from somewhere. But let's not ruin other circuits and deal with this. Another thing I can do, of course, is measure the voltage. So I am putting this right here in the minus, ground if you like. So this is alright. Now let me measure this. Oops, you can't see anything. Now you can, I hope. Yeah. So this is 5 volts. Now through both resistors it still is about 5 volts. Can I change that? Of course I can change that. Oh really? I only pull a resistor and the propeller starts working. And I don't think it has anything to do with what I'm doing now. Yeah, what's the explanation of this? Very, very, very good question. I don't know. I pull out the resistor and it just keeps working. So I put it now, let's say, right here. Alright, I take another one and I put it in between these two. So actually 3 resistors in a row. Now keep in mind not to bend them, although that doesn't really matter. So what's the total resistance? What's the total voltage? Still 5,98. I'll show you. Right. 5,98. So there's hardly any change in voltage over the 3 resistors, and that probably explains why the voltage, or why the value in the serial monitor is not changing. The voltage doesn't change, and those potmeters really do make a difference. So I think I need a lot more resistors in series to make a difference, like 10 or 20, because well, 300 ohms times 10 is 3 kilo yeah, 3 kilo ohms, and then you start making a difference, which by the way doesn't explain why this is behaving like it is, as oddly as it is. Right, so what next? I did find an analog potmeter with 6 pins, and it is ranging from 0 to 1333 kilo ohms. No, 1333 ohms, give or take. So far mounting it on the board has seen no changes, but at least it is a potmeter, so I can use it when I know and find out how to actually connect it, because connecting the power has seen no change, so I probably have to connect it to the ground as well on, but then the number of wires here prevent me from doing that properly, so I probably have to move it somewhere here. So no more mock-up. I will do so next time, finishing this, and then I will also see on the serial monitor what the result may be, because right now in the current setting I didn't see a change. It stayed even this way 1023, which is obviously not correct. And with this I can once again try to get the motor running, but that doesn't work. Getting some characters in doesn't work either. Even in such a way that it doesn't do a thing anymore. So let me close the serial monitor and start it again. Right. Try again. So unfortunately no result, but that has to do with this wiring. What else can I do? Not much. So for now, thank you for watching. It's getting more interesting now. Change that stuff and see whatever happens. I should not change the code for now, not even to another frequency, because also with changing voltage can drive the motor, as it has been proven before. So with this I thank you for watching. If you like this video and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you don't want that for some reason, I am also on Twitter and Instagram. Also please visit my website for other interesting projects. If you would be so kind also to make a small donation to keep everything going. Information via my website as well. And this is obviously going to be continued. Bye bye.